Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2019 horror film Doctor Sleep, a film that is directed by Mike Flanagan and it stars Ewan McGregor as Dan Torrance, Rebecca Ferguson as Rose the Hat, Kylie Curran and Cliff Curtis. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is the sequel to The Shining, or it is certainly based on the Stephen King follow-up book to his version of The Shining, if that makes sense. Now, it's widely reported that Stephen King was not keen on the Kubrick version of The Shining. However, it has become over time a horror classic, that film. So Mike Flanagan, who is a very, very talented horror director, had a bit of a hard job on here. He had to make a film that pleased fans of the film The Shining and also pleased fans of the book of The Shining and the follow-up book Doctor Sleep. Now, that's no easy task, to say the least. However, I think he has done a pretty remarkable job with this film. And now, I'm not a super fan when it comes to The Shining. I do like it, I do appreciate it as a horror film, but I probably wouldn't even put it in my top 10 horror films of all time, because controversial that might sound to some people, but I do respect it as a horror film, to say the least. So I wasn't over excited to see this film. However, after watching it now, I have to say I was really quite impressed with it. And this film focuses on Ewan McGregor, who plays Dan Torrance, who you may remember was Jack Nicholson's son in the first film, and he has the gift where he's able to shine. Now, we see at the beginning of the film his young life and his young adult life is very, very difficult, and he basically ends up on the streets because he can't cope with his gift, with powers that he has. And then he is kind of given a gift by a visitation from someone you will recognise from the first film, a spiritual visitation that teaches them how to lock things up in his mind so that he can get on with his life, if you like, and that kind of transforms him. And he ends up moving out to a place in America. He's given a second chance by Cliff Curtis's character, and then the story then moves on 8 years. All in the while, Rebecca Ferguson's character, Rose the Hat, has been spending her time with these group of nomads, if you like, hunting down children with gifts similar to Ewan McGregor and sucking the essence out of them to prolong their own lives. Very, very evil, nasty characters. And they latch on to Kylie Curran's character, Abra, who is a very, very talented young girl who can shine like Ewan McGregor, but even more so, she's even more talented in many ways. And once Rebecca Ferguson and her group latch onto her powers, they decide they need to have her and have her powers as part of her group to prolong their lives. So she seeks out Ewan McGregor, who she's been kind of pen pals with for many, many years, psychically, to help her, and the story progresses from there. So, what did I think of Doctor Sleep? I think I really enjoyed this film. For some people it might be too long, it's 2.5 hours long, but for me, I really liked the slow burn aspect of this film at times. It was beautifully made, really, really fantastic performances. I thought Ewan McGregor gave a really understated and laid back performance here that I thought really, really worked for this character. Rebecca Ferguson was decent enough in the role, but I think the standout here is this young actress Kylie Curran, who plays Abra, who gives a remarkable performance, one of the best child performances I think I've seen for quite a long time. And the film, I think its slow burn for me really, really works. It allowed all these characters to breathe. You got to know them all. You got to realise the story and certainly how Dan Torrance's life has progressed on since that terrible night all them years ago when his father tried to kill him in The Shining. And I thought it was so respectful to The Shining, the first film, in so many ways, and when you watch the film you'll understand what I mean by that. I thought it juggled the balls, if you like, balanced the plates, whatever you want to call it, really, really well, and I think it was respectful to its source material and the first film. And there's some really, really standout nostalgia moments in this film. It's no secret, if you like, that the last 30 minutes of this film are spent at the location from the first film, that hotel. They go back there, and it's nostalgia hit after nostalgia hit. And it starts getting really creepy and spooky at that point. But it's hard to call this a full-on horror. There are certainly some horrific moments in this. There's a child death scene in this that's quite hard to watch. Very, very difficult to watch, in fact. And it peppers the film with some scary moments and horrific scenes now and again. But you would be hard pressed to call this a full-on horror. It's more like a horror drama, or a drama horror, depending on how you see it when you watch this film. But it's a wonderfully constructed film. For me, I want to watch The Shining again because it's a few years since I've seen it. But my first gut impressions are that I think I prefer this to The Shining. I think it's a better made film, a better constructed film, with some really fleshed out characters in it, and I think it really, really ties the two films together brilliantly. So I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10. Really, really enjoyed it. I do strongly recommend you watch it, especially you horror connoisseurs out there. I think you'll find that this is really quite respectful, and I hope you will enjoy it, because I certainly did. So that is my review for Doctor Sleep. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and of course I'll see you next time for more reviews on Screen Stars.